Remember we met, I could tell by your smile. You hadn't been with a good girl like me in a while. Yeah, you were impressed, couldn't leave me alone. Text me every time that you pick up the phone. And I had control in the driver's seat, but my hands are slipping off the wheel. Now the tables have turned, now I'm up all night. I'm picturing you, acting like a fool. I'm on the other side, you're like a full moon, and I'm up all night, howling at you.
Hi. The Pevensey Bay group are full of very, very good photographers, and they show and have recently showed some of the terrific sunrises, and for that matter sunsets, but mostly sunrises across Pevensey Bay with the recent good weather. And somebody commented in yet another great photograph, and they are great photographs, and I really commend the people in Pevensey and the group there for submitting so many photographs that give us all a great deal of pleasure. It also struck me that somebody had posted some pictures of a memorial to the dead and said, come on chaps, lest we forget. And although we don't forget on November the 11th, there are a lot of people that nowadays sort of push it aside as being sort of an irrelevance or the glorification of war. And nothing could be further from the truth. Bonfire throughout the southeast pays a great deal of respect to those who gave their lives for us. And you can go to almost any town and any village, and there is a memorial which will list the men who gave their lives in those two wars, two great wars. And of course there have been wars since, but generally speaking, it's the great wars that took the lives of so many from so many villages. And it's important for us to remember that they gave their lives so that we could be able to speak freely and not be locked up for speaking out our minds and giving an opinion. And all that really started down at the Priory with the 1264 and the Battle of Lewes and the agreement with King John, so that we bit by bit loosened up the rules and regulations which governed us. I mean, I suppose that poor old Tom Paine in the 1700s was still bound to some extent by the royalty and the establishment. I mean, after all, he was charged with treason. Actually, that's not totally accurate, and the Tom Paine people will be able to smack my fingers. It was slightly different, but to all intents and purposes, he was charged with being against the king, against the state, and the trial never took place. But if he had taken place and he had been found guilty, he would have been hung, drawn and quartered. And that's because he expressed views that the establishment didn't like. Well, we express views today that the establishment don't like, but we don't get locked up for it. And it's those freedoms that are so important. And those are the freedoms that the young men and young women of our villages and towns gave their lives for during those two wars. And as a consequence, I think that when we get to political statements, is go and make your political statements elsewhere, but not on November the 11th. because certainly in this part of the world, we are very keen that we don't forget. I'm very, very proud always, whether I'll be asked again this year, I don't know, but during the service at St. Michael's, to read that verse from the poem that they shall not grow old. And we process down the aisle to the memorial which stands at the back of the church, and I'm able to read that little verse from the poem which has made it so famous and so important. And the people of Pevensey who are now reminding us on their group stage that we are going to remember, with your permission, I'm just going to read it because it makes the hairs stand up on the back of my neck all the time. And it goes, "They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them." Very touching. And I hope that those people who see it as a chance to be anti-war will remember that we're just saying how grateful we are that our young gave their lives so that we could have a program like this on television today, where we can say what we like and express our views, including theirs, and not be locked up. Quite so. Toodle pip.
If ever I had a video, would you dance in it? Would you dance?